Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So, 20 years, Biggie Smalls died, man. Oh, was murdered, and it's just crazy. Uh, Biggie Smalls is probably the only hip hop artist where I mean, he only had two albums, and the best of Biggie duets, but um, he's the only artist where I probably know not probably, I know every song by that artist. I'm from New York. And if I don't know the song by heart, I know the cadence of it. I pick it up immediately, and I'm listening to all these radio stations play all his music. I get so nostalgic because I remember in high school I was trying to introduce my high school teacher to Biggie, Mr. Hofstein. Man, he was a Jewish guy from New York, and we were both diehard Knicks fans. And I was his TA, student assistant. I don't know, teacher assistant, TA. And I had a gimmick period. When you're an athlete, you get those gimmick periods. And you know, it, I remember playing playing some Biggie for him. And then in college, when he was murdered, it was just before spring break. And that spring break, I went from Rosarito, Lake Havasu, into Vegas, all in one trip in 4 or 5 days on about $300. For real, man. We were dead broke in Vegas, sleeping in the Tropicana parking lot. For real. I'll never forget it. And I remember every time we crossed state line, I played that song going back to Cali, and like Biggie is such an integral and huge part of my hip hop career, if you want to call it. I was raised off of hip hop. Just like your mother's you're raised off of Motown. I was raised off of hip hop, and I'm I'm just saddened that we never got the Brooklyn Finest album. I don't know what the title would have been, but the working title for me would have been Jay-Z and Biggie. I know we would have got a collaboration album from Tupac and Biggie as they would have matured, and we missed a lot. It sort of reminds me of like how does all our great elite uh, black leaders and entertainers leave so soon? From Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. They leave so soon, and they leave so much untapped potential. And it's just it saddens me that I didn't get to see Tupac at 50. Just think about a Tupac at 50 years old, how special that would be. Or Biggie Smalls, who had the pulse of the entire nation as he not conforms, but grows into a mature man with the family and potentially marries Faith Evans if he wasn't married to her already. What that man looked like, you know, their imprint on social injustices, social equality, politics, contemporary America. We'll never know. We can assume, but we should not be living 2017 without Tupac and Biggie. I mean, those two will forever be linked, and it hurts. I remember being saddened when I found out Tupac died. I couldn't believe it, man. I was in college and I just sitting in my dorm room. I couldn't believe it. And the same holds true for Biggie. What softened the blow was that his album came out right after, and it was more of a celebratory. It was more of a celebratory action because his album came immediately after he was murdered, and it was. I remember in college playing that song. I remember. I mean, forgive me for changing the energy of this song. I remember fucking mad bitches in college, man. I'm fucking you tonight by R. Kelly and Big, man. Like for real, that was like that was the shit, man. Like for real, man. And man, you know, as I go through memory lane, I remember when the album first came out. I had an Oldsmobile Omega. I remember uh, playing it, and you had the adapter to your CD, your CD player. You had the adapter. You put it in the your tape player. If you showed a 10-year-old kid that, 12-year-old kid, they'd be like, "What's that?" But man, it was just, when you're 19, um, you're easily influenced. You're like a sponge. And I remember debating who's better, Biggie, Tupac. And in my teens, in my early 20s, there's no way you could tell me Biggie wasn't better than Tupac. And as I've gotten older, I've grown to love Tupac as equal as I love Biggie. I think uh, uh, Biggie told far better stories with better metaphors, and I think Tupac was the greatest at submerging the message into lyrics. You know, but them together, President Obama might have happened in 2000. You guys feel what I'm saying? That vote or die message would have been much more profound with not only Diddy. Remember Vote or Die on MTV? You remember that? Remember that? If you guys remember that. But imagine Tupac and Biggie saying Vote or Die. Was it Al Gore? Al Gore gets in office. You understand what I'm saying? So, it's just, we never know. This world will be a better place with them alive, for sure. So anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. I'm going down memory lane 20 years later, man. It's like, how, how, how are we as selfish individuals murder people over dumb shit? So anyways, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. And 20 years, Biggie gone, man. Talk to you guys soon, man. Peace.